Hey folks, and welcome back to the Leeds Gamer. It's match review time, and it's similar scenario to the last time that we played Arsenal. Leeds have lost 4-0, and it's clear that Arsenal have some good players, but at the same time, Leeds have given them way too much respect in this match, and made costly errors that have let Arsenal in way too easily, and ultimately, this is really buggered us up here. As far as the table's concerned, as you can see there, it's now 24 games played, 6 wins, 8 draws, 10 losses now, which is, in an ideal world, you never want the loss column to get into double figures, but we kind of expected it probably would do. But for it to happen, with still double figure number of games remaining, it's a bit sour. Quite obvious that Arsenal are the new bogey team for Leeds United. Thank God we don't have to play them again this season. The other really naff point of all this is that our goal difference has just taken another massive whack with it being 4-0. So it's now 31 goals scored, 42 conceded. But again, when you take it in context, 9 of those goals have been conceded against the same team. But it shows that we need to find some kind of way of, there's generally at this stage of where Leeds are at, there is no shame in losing against Arsenal. But to lose in the manner that we've lost, I don't think we learned very much from the last time that we played against them. In this match, in my opinion, we had maybe a quarter of an hour of the first half and a quarter of an hour of the second half. But Arsenal have dominated about an hour of this match. I mean, we'll look into the stats now. But ultimately, the goal difference has taken a massive hit. And that was one thing that we did have an advantage over the teams below us. Now we don't. They've still got games to play: Forest, West Ham, and Burnley. No, this is a sour one to take. I'm not going to lie. It means now that the game against Nottingham Forest, we have to win that game. It's just an absolute must-win now. When you look at the context of the situation, Nottingham Forest, when they played their game against Crystal Palace, who were not that far ahead of us, I mean, what's the best result in all of that? A draw? So it keeps both of them in the problem? Tottenham have still got to play their game as well. They're against Manchester City. Jesus. So in real time, we really need Manchester City to beat Tottenham. And I would say a draw between Palace and Forest might be the ideal result from a Leeds point of view. It keeps both Palace and Forest where they are. They're not going to start pulling away from where we are. So I think that could be crucial. I don't want us to be looking at other teams' results. I want us to just focus on what we do, but we're not in that luxury. So yeah, we're on minus 11 now, so the goal difference advantage is gone. Still on 26 points, which, it's as you were in terms of what we need. We need 4 more wins and 2 more draws but we've got one less game to do it in now. And we've still got Aston Villa, and I think Chelsea and Man City to come in the next few games or something. Which means that game against Nottingham Forest, if we can win that, puts us on 29 and just keeps us that little bit further away from that relegation zone. On one hand, it's a free hit against Arsenal, a match that we were not likely to get anything from. But then on the other hand of it all, it really has done some damage here, in my opinion. So that's my general thoughts on it. So let's have a look at the statistics of the match. Oh, hold on. Let's try that again, sorry. So when it comes to the goals, Zubimendi, up until they scored, I didn't think we were doing that bad, but I would say maybe about 5 minutes before Zubimendi got his goal, we were getting peppered with corners. And it felt like Arsenal might take something from one of them eventually, which ultimately they did with Zubimendi. It wasn't direct from the corner, but once the corner had kind of been, flicked out of the box, they then created the attack and then scored from it. The second goal, I mean, for all the negativity that's been sent towards Lucas Perry, for the mistakes that he's made, this mistake from Darlow is probably worse than anything that Lucas Perry has done this season, in my opinion. Just calamity goalkeeping at the front post. Corner comes in. DCL makes a bit of a hash of things as well, getting in front of Darlow and kind of preventing Darlow from having a clean run at catching the ball. Darlow makes a hash of it and practically puts it into the net. And then, to be honest, I can't remember much about the Gyökeres and Jesus goals, quite frankly. Gyökeres, I think he got ahead of one of the Leeds players and poked it in. We should have stopped the cross for that. And then Gabriel Jesus, what did he do to score? I was switching off. I didn't switch the game off, but my mind was switching off at that point. We had the odd moment where we did, we were trying to get, to still try and get back into it. I mean, if I'm gonna give Leeds any credit, they never gave up. They kept trying. But that should be a prerequisite. You know what I mean? That should be a minimum requirement. So if we look at the stats, I mean, there's a momentum graph there. And you can see there's so much Arsenal on there. And I don't read into expected goals, but that is some of the worst that we've had all season. 0.15 against their 2.39. Not much difference in possession, and part of that was because of what Leeds did in the first quarter of an hour, 20 minutes of the second half. Look, until they got their first goal of the second half, Leeds did come out really well. They were giving it a go. They were trying. So for that they've got to be commended. But this is ridiculous. 3 shots in the entire game. That ain't good enough. I don't care who the opposition is. You've got to have a go. Yes, Arsenal possibly prevented us at times. But there were times when we were passing it backwards. There was no pace, there was no flow, there was no tempo. Teams can't deal with quick passing. They've got to get the ball forward properly, and it just never happened. They've scored 4 of their 7 big chances. 14, half of their total shots were big chances according to this. It's so frustrating. I mean, look at that. That's horrible. So if we look at the full detail, we've kind of seen all that. They scored half of the shots that they got on target. I think that one on target for Leeds was this. I think we had a Strauch header from a corner that was quite easy for Raya to save. Fairly even between the two teams regarding passing, both in number of passes and pass accuracy. Fouls committed. Arsenal went down so soft on some of them fouls. I mean, southern soft is easiest way to describe it. This is annoying, right? We know how good Arsenal can be from set pieces. We gifted them 12 bloody corners. Is it any wonder that we've lost the game as badly as we have? You know, again, you kind of look at it and think, you know, Arsenal are that good that they can force corners out of the opposition. But some of them were gifts as well. We made it too easy for Arsenal today, and that's what annoys me. Again, look at the difference with the shots. You can't let them have so many chances. They're going to score the bloody things. Leeds obviously dominating the defence because they spent most of the bloody match defending. Duels. I mean, like, if we take DCL as an option, you know, even DCL was struggling to win his duels today. You know, to win his aerial duels and everything. It was... Albeit, ironically, it says that overall we actually did better with the aerial duels. But means nothing in the end, doesn't it, really? Passing stats, I mean, as I mentioned, everything's relatively close between the two teams. There's not a shed ton of a difference, is there, really? But again, only one accurate cross. You know, which equates to a paltry 5%. I mean, what the hell? To have as many as 18 touches in the opposition box, and we only did what we did from an attacking point of view. Awful. I mean, these FOTMob ratings are going to be Arsenal all the bloody way, aren't they? According to this, Anton Stack was Leeds' best player. Yeah, I thought Stack did okay. But he's the only one that's actually gotten into the greens for Leeds, according to all this. I mean, after that it goes down to Ampadu, Longstaff, and Longstaff was a sub for Christ's sake. Strout, Gudmundsson. I didn't think Gabby did that bad actually. I'd say that out of all of our players, especially the start of the second half, Gabby Gudmundsson was heavily involved. Started the second half really well, did Gabby. But, you know, it's slim pickings, you know, for everything that we're looking at here. You know, everything underneath Okafor here. You know, I mean, well, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, that's partially because he's conceded 4 goals. But again, you know, on the eye test, it clearly wasn't good enough. I mean, this, you know, this might just be a case that Leeds just need to dust themselves down and prepare for the Nottingham Forest game. Get everyone as fit as you possibly can, and, you know, just reset. You know, chalk this one off and try and repair the damage that's been caused by this negative result. because purely from a figures point of view, it's bad. It really does knacker up some of the figures. According to this, Saliba only got a 6.9. Havertz only got a 6.9. Havertz wasn't in game much, but he hadn't played for like a year or something. I thought Hincapi was poor. I didn't think he was any great shakes, and he can't do throw-ins. Like my days. I thought Trossard was quiet. A lot of their stuff did come on their right hand side, but despite that, I thought Gabby Goodmanson played all right. Aronson was quiet for Leeds today. DCL was quiet for Leeds today. I thought Gruev did okay. Stack did okay. Ampadu, not that bad, I guess. The defence just didn't deal with the basics. And as I say, they made Arsenal look like bloody winners at Champions League. They made them look like world beaters in the end. Really, I don't think that Arsenal were amazing. They were good. They were effective with what they did, but they Leeds just made it so easy for them. I'll be interested to hear Daniel Farke's comments on it, because I'm hoping that he says that Leeds made it too easy for Arsenal, because that's how it comes across to me. Leeds made it way too easy for them, and we brought on all of these attack. Maybe bar Longstaff. You've got Okafor, Inonto and Pirro that all came on. They're all attacking players. They brought on Martinelli and Jesus and Eze from an attacking point of view. Odegaard and Calafiori a little bit more defensive. Players that didn't get on: Arrizabalaga, the keeper, former Leeds loanee Ben White, Mosquera, another defender, and then Norgard only came into the lineup because Saka got an injury just before. I think he got the injury in the warm-up or something. From Leeds' point of view, Perry the goalkeeper, Sam Byram, Seb Bornhouse, again two defenders, and then Outanaka, who played poorly in the last match, so I'm not surprised that Outanaka didn't come on in this one. Usually, someone like Outanaka, you can usually rely on him to be very tidy in possession, of which I think we needed to be more tidy in possession, because we didn't do anything with the possession we had. And according to the stats as you've just seen, there wasn't a great deal of difference in the possession stat. So, yeah, for me now, this next game, this game against Nottingham Forest, is absolutely vital. So we look at fixtures coming up. This one, Friday, 6th of February, Ellen Road, under the lights. We've been good at the games under the lights, actually, to be fair. According to this, one position better. We get a little bit more goal action than they do, but we also concede more than they do, according to that as well, which is slightly odd. But anyway, but yeah, this fixture now is absolutely key. They're without Chris Wood. It's probably a good thing, because he'd probably score against us otherwise. John Victor's out. Nicholas Savona is out. I don't know who he is. And as things stand at the moment, for us, it's James out, Beal out, and Nemecha out. I mean, we need Nemecha back. We need Nemecha back for this. We really do. I'd like to see us get Beal back as well. Dan James is back in team training, so in terms of form, we that match we should have had something against them. That one's a whitewash. From Forest's point of view, their form's not that bad actually. albeit drawing with Wrexham's poor, even though it's a cup match. And they got a draw against Arsenal. We should have had a look at what Forest did against Arsenal to see if we could neutralise it, but clearly not. Lost 2-0 to Brentford and then they thrashed Ferencvaros. So they're probably going to be a little bit feeling a bit more confident than we are, but we're going to have to do something about this. We've got to win this match now. This is key. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, folks. I'm feeling absolutely devastated with what I've just seen there. But please give the video a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please hype the video as well if it'll let you. I'll do a review of the Nottingham Forest match closer to the time. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.